Disclaimer. You have been warned.
The last thing we all need right now is another podcast from two 20-year-olds who think they got all the answers. We're serious. The name of this podcast is For Real, so continue at your own discretion. If you listen to this episode, you'll be doing it against our consideration.
And if you find yourself asking, who cares about this? Go ahead and stop listening, because the answer is no one. Have you never thought about it?
No, it's just like, what am I going to say? I wake up, I shower, I piss and shit.
Well, everyone does different things.
I wake up. Actually, no, I don't piss and shit immediately after I shower. What happens is I wake up and I pee.
Yeah, post-shower shit.
So I pee first because, you got to pee in the morning. Just how I feel physically. I take a shower, brush my teeth, put deodorant on. Used to put hair product in. Now there's no reason. I don't go out and I don't have anybody to impress. Already have a girlfriend. Don't even care what I look like. So I don't put anything in my hair. Just brush my teeth. Get out of the bathroom, dry off, put some clothes on, get a coffee. Now this is where the shitting comes in. I drink my coffee and I start working. In the morning, start doing a little work. And the coffee makes me shit, so then I go and shit.
Right.
Then the morning's over. And it's always the best poop. Like, you wake up and you don't feel too good because you got all this poop in you from all the food you ate the day before. And the coffee, and you don't really, like, my body is weird. It doesn't really need to go, like, that bad. Like, it's not going to come out. Sure. Then I drink this coffee and it's like, yo, it's go time. Everything starts, like, hurting. So...
I don't think it should be painful.
I'm not even kidding. Like, everything's like, oh, dude, you need to go. Like, my body's about to explode.
Right.
So then I go in there, and it is so satisfying. It is so great.
Just jumpstarts your entire bodily system.
And then I feel so clear and clean, and I have a great day after that.
So your entire morning is centered around this morning shit.
Dude, it really is. Like, there are some days where the morning shit doesn't happen, and those are the worst days because
it just bugs you the whole day.
Because I don't usually poop in the middle of the day. It's usually the morning, like
right,
and then everything just gets saved up for the next morning. My body's just trained that way.
Yeah,
But if sometimes I don't get, like, it won't come out.
Okay.
So then I'm stuck the whole day until the next day.
You can't get past it.
Right. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, this is like kind of gross, but I'm pretty sure I have like irritable bowel syndrome or something, like, because...
Why do you think that?
Well, just the symptoms of it are what I have.
What do you think? What do you think the symptoms of IBS are?
Very irregular bowel movements, and like it goes from being normal poop to just straight up blasted diarrhea for no reason. And I'm like, at first I assess my diet. I'm like, what am I eating?
Right. And
it's just normal foods. I cut dairy out. I was like, dairy could be it. Nah, it could be bread. Can't be bread. It's not starch. It's not carbs. What is it? Nothing, because I'm eating like a normal person. And it fluctuates. It'll be like sometimes 4 or 5 months, I'm completely fine.
Yeah.
Then another 3 months, I hate pooping. Every time I poop, I don't like it.
And that sucks because that's like your favorite part of the day.
Right. Even when it's not fun, it's just nice to get it over with.
Sure.
Anyways, we've talked about that for enough, I think.
I don't think we have. I think this deserves more dissection.
I just realized we're talking about pooping a lot.
Well, we can move on. I mean...
What is there to dissect? My whole day is centered around my morning bowel movement.
Yeah, you're right. I think we really got to the core issue of it.
You know what? This is... I'm not going to name... Okay, names, but...
Okay.
But my previous roommate... would give me so much shit for my shit.
Oh, really?
Like, if I,
Wait, what do you... I didn't know this.
Dude, oh, God. I'm a morning pooper. Okay?
Yeah, we've established that.
And this guy, he wakes up late. So, I'm pooping in the morning.
Oh, he has to, like, deal with it. Okay.
No. It's not like the smell, the aftermath. It's all fine. That's fine.
Okay.
But it's I'm pooping, and he's just getting up. So he's just getting up. I've already showered and had my coffee and like whatever. Okay. This guy, he's like, hey, I need to use the shower now. But I'm like, dude, I'm pooping. And so...
How long are you pooping for?
Like 10, 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Dude. Listen, I know it's not normal.
This is such a long amount of time.
That's another symptom.
That's a sitcom worth of shitting that you're doing every day.
Because it doesn't happen... It's not like a straight 20 minutes.
I wonder
with poop coming out of my butt.
I wonder if it's not the actual act of using the bathroom, but the
length of time,
the meditation that you can get on the toilet.
I don't meditate. Well, this is why it takes so long. First 5 minutes, I'm pooping.
Okay.
Then I have no need to poop, except that I feel kind of like I need to poop. And then nothing happens for like anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes.
Right.
And the last 5 minutes, I'm pooping again.
Well, yeah, because your body's probably doesn't know what else to do with itself at that point.
No, it's because I know I still have to go, but my body, it comes in waves. Okay.
Why don't you go so you know the timing?
Dude, I'm not gonna poop
so
and then leave for 10 minutes and come back and poop again. I'm just gonna stay in there. I'm just gonna stay in there and poop, dude. Okay. I'm just gonna stay in there.
All right. I'm just trying. Well, I guess
this guy, he's mad at me because he has to go take a shower, but he's waking up always late, and then he's the nerve. He's like, oh, maybe if you didn't take your phone in there, you wouldn't poop so long. Has nothing to do with my phone.
Wait a second. When he gets up, would he go? He would go pee. I'm assuming.
I don't know what he's doing in there. I don't. You know what? I respect him enough not to ask. Whatever you're doing in there, I don't want to know.
Dude, no, because one of my roommates, like when I shared a bathroom with them, like in an apartment that only had the one bathroom between the two of us. If I didn't get up first, when I get up, I use the bathroom for 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Like I pee, and then I do my hair. That's it. I'm not taking up too much time in the bathroom. I'm considerate. But the other guy who I'd lived with, 30 minutes. So like if I woke up, right, and I look over and he was asleep, I would be like, oh fuck, I gotta get in the bathroom right now. Because whenever I would look up, see he's still asleep, and go, okay, maybe 20 more minutes. And then I wake up again and he's up and he's in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. I'm like, fuck, because now I'm awake and I can't use the bathroom anymore. So like, I understand where that guy's coming from, because whenever I've had to like hold it and it's the morning pee, that's the long pee.
Yes. No, I grant him this. However.
But if he's just trying to shower, then like just hang on.
Yeah. Usually I think that's it, because he immediately showers. But this is not the point. The point is this. All right. You're waking up at 10, 11. You know, I'm doing my morning poop. Uh-huh. You've had ample time to get up. And this is like during the normal school year, right? Where like there's shit going on. People got shit to do, you know?
Right.
He's always waking up late.
Uh-huh.
Not my fault you wake up so late, dude.
Right.
There'd be times it's like noon, he's still asleep. And I want to do stuff in my room. And I can't, but I'm not going to be like, oh, maybe if you didn't take your phone to bed with you, you can get up earlier.
Well, you got to agree on that stuff. Because that's what, do you remember that like in the freshman dorm? Mm-hmm. Where they had the form that was like part of like the new student not recruitment but like initiation kind of stuff, where they're like, everyone meet your roommates and play freeze tag or whatever. Sure. And then they would hand you all the forms that was like, okay, here are the rules.
What do we all agree on?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like that was supposed to like teach everybody how to do it later, but the way that they always would just kind of like throw the piece of paper at you, it was more like, here's your homework before school starts. So everybody would just fucking like fill it out and not give a shit. And then
it's awkward, right?
They didn't pick anything up.
No, it's awkward because I remember that form and I remember thinking, this is a terrible idea. Not because it like in what's it called? Not in practice. What's the other one? In theory.
Yeah.
In theory, it's like, yeah, it makes sense. You all agree. You get a paper. Yeah. It's signed, you know, whatever. But the thing is, no one knows each other. And you go in there, and what are you going to... You're going to start an argument? Like, if someone says, I want to wake up at 10, and the other guy's like, I'd rather sleep until noon. What's going to happen? They're not going to change your roommates based on this.
You're just going to start the whole living situation off with an argument.
Terrible. At least give it a few weeks and then get upset. Now you're already upset.
Plus, then you would actually know what to agree on and what needs discussing. Because to just start off with like, all right, who's doing what chores? And you're like, I don't fucking want to do chores. I just got here, dude. There's nothing to do.
There's no chores. Also, they had a cleaning person. Like they would send cleaning people. But the thing is,
but there were there was like things of like picking things up, like because they would like vacuum, but they wouldn't pick up your shit.
Right. But that's the thing, is that no one picked up their shit.
Yeah. So then they like wouldn't vacuum because there's like fucking no room on the carpet.
Honestly, I can't think about how small. Like they 3 people in like this really tiny room.
Right.
And even if the room's a decent size, it's got 3 beds and 3 desks in that bitch, dude. And you don't know these guys. It's like 2 other guys a whole year.
Right.
And there's loads of these rooms all in one building.
Yeah.
What a fucking idea for a pandemic to start, like, or just to spread.
Oh God, yeah, dude. I drove by like the huge dorm like a couple weeks ago.
The huge dorm?
Yeah, the really big what's it called? FT.
FT.
It's the biggest one here.
Yeah,
The like fucking
I worked there.
The 2 buildings or whatever. And it's massive. Like the other buildings are like 2 floors with like 40 rooms to a wing and like 4 wings or whatever. And this thing's massive. The other night I was driving by it and there was just this one like probably international student, because they're still staying over there since they can't go back home, just playing the piano in the open like rec room. So like the whole room is empty, but also the entire building has like 8 people in it. So it's just this one sad piano player in this giant like hotel-sized building. It'd be insane.
Recorded that shit, dude.
Talk about having room, like like going from literally your one box to the entire building all to yourself. It's insane.
Yeah, man. You know, college dorms, especially here, they suck. Borderline.
I didn't
like,
think they were that bad,
dude. Why?
But
why?
you had problems.
Why? Why didn't you think they were so small? That San Miguel dorm. I don't even know how I got through it.
I feel like mine was bigger. I don't know why, but mine. I feel like because mine was right next to the staircase. Because remember there was that one that was basically just a closet that they turned into a room or whatever.
A single.
I think mine was like the opposite of that. Like it had like some extra shit, but they couldn't use it for anything else.
Dude, the best way to, and this is why I hated the dorms, and I realized honestly, like just right now in this moment, I'm realizing. It's not that they're too small or whatever. It's that you're not supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. Like in the building regularly. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be out most of the time. Like on campus.
It's supposed to just be where you sleep.
And I didn't.
I was told that like from the start.
No one told me this. And I wouldn't, like, that's just not how I roll. I love having space to myself. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it's kind of like a privilege. You know? It's like only kind of, if
it's a luxury.
It's a luxury. That's what I'm looking for. But no one told me that, you know, hey, dude, you're not supposed to, this isn't supposed to be where you do college. So I did college in the dorms. And then when I was a fucking RA, I literally spent most of my time in the dorms again. So 2 years, I'm inside dorm buildings most of my time.
Yeah, dude.
So that's why I hate it. That's why I fucking hate it.
Yeah, because you spent all your time there, dude. No, when I got dropped off, like on the drive over, because I had to drive through like all the states with my mom, right? Like, and we were talking about like what to expect. And one of the number one pieces of advice she gave me was like, don't spend all your time in the dorm. The dorm is literally just to like crash out in. Like, get out of the dorm as much as you can, because it is not like a home. It is literally just a place to fall asleep and maybe do homework in. I had the TV, so like that was nice. But you don't need a bunch of space to fucking watch TV, so it wasn't a big deal. All I needed was the bed and my desk, and it was fine.
And can we talk about, you know, that move-in day, the reality that people like that hits them when they realize, this sentence is not really making sense, but when they got to the dorm, like students and their parents, and they realized that they can't bring in all their shit. Oh. Like,
I had
everyone
so much
brought their whole fucking lives with them.
I had 10 pairs of shoes. I think I wore maybe 3.
Right?
And that was only because like 2 months in, I was stretching to wear the shoes that I didn't wear, because like I got all these fucking shoes, I gotta wear some of these things.
About half of the things I had brought in that car to the dorms that first day, I had to put back in the car, like with my
and drive back.
Well, I didn't drive back. My parents just took it back with them. And when I was an RA, that moving day, kids brought like, dude, full beds, like a whole bed. It's like, do you not realize there are beds in there? Don't bring a bed. But this is the thing, is like they don't They don't tell, like, I don't know, what, do people not know?
I mean, my car, the first drive was stuffed to the ceiling and like all the way. I've got like I had like a pretty large size car. Like I had like a mid-sized SUV kind of thing. Like it had pretty good cabin space and it was full, like to the ceiling from the back to the front seats, like all crammed with stuff, and barely used any of it. The second trip out there, it was like half full. Like it had like, it was not even close. And then the last trip, the trip that's supposed to be like to like move my stuff, right? Like I'm going to live in this apartment. I'm going to keep this stuff in California. That trip was like half of that. So I needed like a quarter of the shit from the start. Like I needed such little, I did not need as much as I thought I did.
So I'm with you there. If I had to do college again, there'd be a lot of things I'd do differently. But one of the first, like, most important things was I would bring almost nothing. I would bring only clothes. I brought too much shit. I brought like 2 guitars, an amplifier that was way too big to be in there. I brought like a laptop and speakers and all this shit I didn't need. And that's why my fucking freshman year, like, there's just too much going on. There's already so much going on. And all this clutter. And I remember I visited Sam's dorm. This kid named Sam. You know Sam.
Oh, sure.
I visited his dorm. This guy, he's had it right since day one. Clean desk, almost nothing on it, just one laptop.
Right.
A little desk lamp and a little Bluetooth speaker. That's all. And clothes. He had clothes in his closet. His room was so nice, but my room was the opposite. And his roommates were all the same. My room was the opposite. My roommates, all cluttered.
Yeah.
All of us brought way too much shit.
You all did what you did.
Exactly.
Which was bring everything. And that's 3 times that stuff.
Sometimes I really wish I could redo.
No.
I know. It's like you don't want to redo college, but it would have been so cool to go through it. Like when I have a kid, right, and he's going to college, I'm going to tell him not to do the things that I did. I'm going to say, dude, get out more. Right? Like fucking leave the place that you're in. The dorm is not your home.
Dude, yeah. That's what sucks about all this. The quarantine that's still going on is like I've wanted to be out, and I have the most free time I've ever had, and I just stay inside all day, and it's great. It's so great. It's so great how little I do.
Yeah.
But I wish I had the option to do other things.
I mean, who doesn't, dude? I just realized recently in my life that I need to get out more.
And this is exactly when you need to stay inside. This is when
this happens, which, fine. That life is funny that way.
Right.
It could be way worse. I could have worse worries than, oh man, I really wish I could.
Like you could have COVID.
Or I could be not financially stable.
To stay inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that'd be fucking that was one of the first like things I was thinking about, because that first week was so weird of like everyone staying inside and stuff. Was like it's like the people who, like, I was lucky enough to have money provided by the school, and then also just from having a job that like I knew I would be able to have a spot for at least a little while, like of my own. But the amount of people that like just don't have that, and all of a sudden also don't have their job anymore, and like have to just stay inside, was like terrifying.
What a double fucking whammy. Well, let me just break you down the situation. You're poor, right? You have a job. It's kind of like a shitty minimum wage job, but you're poor. You're getting through life. Pandemic happens. China pandemic virus comes over.
No.
fucking destroys everything. And everyone's like, for that first week, everyone was like, it was fun. People are like, oh, we get to stay inside in quarantine and everything's great. Okay. Right. And then you realize, wait, I'm poor. I have no money. Okay, I got to go back to work, but you can't go back to work. And even if you wanted to go to work, there are no jobs.
Yeah.
So you can't, what are you going to do? And then the government's like, here's $1,000. Good fucking luck.
Yeah.
1 month's rent.
Yeah. And they might not even do it a second time. And they're not even forgiving rent. It's a shit show.
I don't, listen, I do this thing where I complain about America, and then you always get these people, right? They're like, if you don't like America, why don't you leave? Fuck you. That's not how it works, dick shit. All right, I'm just saying there's a problem.
Right.
I'd like the problem to be solved for the greater, because I like this place.
Yeah.
It's cool if this place would be better.
Sure.
if all these other countries, Canada did it right. They did rent forgiveness. You got New Zealand and Japan. They barely even. What happened over there? They're fine.
Right. I don't want to go anywhere else, but it's I don't know. It's like if other places were doing it better, I guess. But that's the thing. The other places are only doing the COVID better, like or social issues better. Like I still want to make. Like this place is still my home. I want to make this better because there's a bunch of other shit I like about it, like Sprite or whatever.
They got Sprite in Canada.
That's not what I'm saying. It's just an example. Like
no, I know.
Like there's shit out here I like.
America's awesome. I love it. You know, my family owes a lot to this country, but it's not. Those are completely different things than like, hey, maybe our government could not give billions of dollars to companies that can afford to stay afloat when, you know, people need to live somewhere.
Dude, no, one of the, it was some, I saw like, there's like the list, I'm going to look it up actually. There's like the list of like corporations and stuff that got it. And it's a bunch of like, oh yeah, that was it. Kanye West got a small business loan.
Small business
for his company. Like of the people that you wanted money to go to, Kanye West was the last person on anybody's mind, and yet he's like he got like what was it like? How I gotta look it up now, but it was a ton. It was like $150,000, like something wild.
But chump change to him, right? Like that's not a lot of money to him, but to somebody else, $150,000 is a lot of fucking money.
Dude, most people got $1,000.
Most people, I didn't even get any money. I didn't get any money. Some people never got money.
Right, but you also have kind of a job. That
well,
isn't
now,
that
but I didn't
really
back then, right? When that check went out.
Right.
Now, to be fair, I'm registered as a dependent for my parents.
Yeah.
So you
wouldn't have gotten the money.
There's a reason I didn't get the money, but there are some people who did not get the money, and they should have gotten.
Yeah. Money. Like people who should get that money usually. It's just a shame. Kanye West company granted millions. I was underselling it. Let me see what the
Run.
2 to 5 million.
Why?
For his business.
He like what?
And now he's gonna run for president.
Okay. Dude, fuck me, man. None of this makes sense. It's not even a political thing. This is the real problem with America. Everything is political. I could say, we should all be nice to each other. And some fucking guy on Fox News is like, with the liberal media, and they make it a thing.
Yeah.
And now you can't hang out. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, you can't talk about it with anybody because everyone's so identified.
Everyone's on edge too. You notice this? Like high school, I mean, maybe it's just because I was ignorant in high school and like this shit never crossed my mind. But like now, normal conversations with people, it's a little like if I say something, is it gonna get interpreted as
Yeah.
And they might say something, and you're gonna be like, oh, what do they mean by that? Is it
I always got into like pretty heavy political debates as a kid. That was what's really weird is I got way into it as a kid. And then so when I got to college, and this has been like the most politically turbulent time like ever, like I'd already like covered a lot of this shit. Like the ideas that were already like that were starting to like bubble up, like when Trump got elected and everyone was like, how the fuck did this happen? And the whole year that was leading up to that, I was like, he's totally gonna win. He's gonna win the whole thing. And like the idea that like no one saw how it could be possible when it was happening, but I thought it was possible 2 years prior. Like it made me jaded very, very quickly, which isn't, you don't want to do that.
I guess not. I mean, I was definitely surprised, but obviously in hindsight, not really. Like, it's not that surprising because
not at all.
He's really just, I'm not educated on this. Okay, so just take this with like a pound of salt.
This is just from what you've seen.
I'm just spitballing here, but if I had to make a guess, it's because Obama, a black dude, was president for 8 years, and an old whitey just couldn't handle it, and Trump is the retaliation to that.
Yeah,
they'll cover it up with, this is the genius of the Republican Party. They can cover up that kind of feeling with other words. Like, so they're not going to go out and say, because Obama was black and president, we're going to retaliate. They're going to say, we want to keep our history. So vote for the guys that are cool with the Confederate flag. You know, it's like very hidden.
Yeah.
Secret guy.
Secret guy.
I don't know, but it's not fun. I don't like it anymore here. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like it here anymore because of just socially. Like,
it sucks, dude. I don't know and I catch myself doing it all the time too, where like I'm actually okay. I feel like I'm the best at it in terms of like having friends that I disagree with politically, right? And disagree like fervently with. Like I like cannot like engage them much politically because it'll drive me insane. But it seems like, especially with our generation, a lot of people don't or can't compartmentalize someone who is their friend with their political views. Like it is usually that's the scary part now, is that if you put yourself out there, you're gonna lose whatever tribe you've got going on for yourself. So like no one puts their ideas out there, and then no one feels safe to discuss it. So then like nothing is ever discussed because everyone's afraid that they're either going to insult their friend or their friend's gonna fucking come at them. That like everyone's just chicken shit to like have the conversation. And that's not like anything different. People have always been like touchy around the idea of talking about politics, even back in the 60s or whatever.
But back then they just didn't do it.
Right.
Like it would be like you just vote whatever you believe.
Exactly. There was a lot more like cover up, like silencing people rather than just like at least now everyone is like maybe aware, like
right.
everyone's keeping an eye on things, but it's because everyone's keeping an eye on things and everyone's so like personally invested, it gets way more agitated and like sensitive, so that like you can't prod it because you're prodding the person now, not just their ideas.
Well, two things, right? You're completely right about that. The first thing is people have started to identify themselves with their ideologies, like politically. So if you're a Democrat or whatever, and someone's like, oh, Democrats do this, or like, oh, I don't like the Democratic this or whatever, you think they're talking about you.
Right.
But really, they're not, right? So
right.
That's what you were saying. But the counter to this is, like, I also like having friends that don't politically align with me.
Yeah.
Right? But at some point, especially now, it is against you.
You got to be able to agree on certain things.
But that's
like certain facts. Yeah.
At some point, disagreement is not
disagreement. You're just like blatantly ignoring shit. Yeah.
Like if a guy's like, hey, I don't like you because of your skin color, there's nothing I can work with. I'm so fucked. I can't work with that, dude.
Right.
I can't be like, well, we just disagree. Let's go for a drink, though.
Let's go get some milkshakes and hang out. Yeah.
You don't like me because I'm brown. It's okay.
Right.
You can't do that.
You can't hang out with that guy anymore.
Yeah. Can't do that. But I'll do it. But counter to that counter. Dude, even so, when I lived in Texas, there was so many racist people around. Like, I know it's a stereotype, but it's true. But when people...
Like people who would like call you out and shit, or like what?
Yeah, totally. And my mom and like my family,
yeah,
they would like say we're Mexican. We're not Mexican, but they'd say go back across the border. No, I cannot do that because I'm not Mexican. But what I'm trying to say is, people individually are fine. Even the racists. I'm serious. Like, a guy could walk into a Walmart. Let's say you're a racist. You're not going to spend your energy going up to every black and non-white dude to be racist to them. Mm-hmm. Like, a guy could come up to you and he might be brown and he'll say something and you'll be like, hey, thank you, have a nice day, bye. Generally, individuals treat individuals with some modicum of respect.
Right.
As soon as someone gets a flag and starts hanging out with each other and there's like more than 3 of them, it's bad. Dude,
yeah, it's like what we were talking about yesterday with the toxic masculinity guy who was being all like, guys gotta be manly. And then it's like, for the most part, guys are just like, hey, how are you?
Yeah,
and not like coming at them all the time.
That's why are people, I'm serious, why are people so invested in in things that do not matter.
Right. Well, the quote that I've probably told you before, but that I've heard people say, like, bring up before all over the place, is like from Men in Black when Will Smith is talking to Tommy Lee Jones. Is that
Yeah,
his
that's
name?
the guy.
Tommy Lee Jones' character, and Will Smith's like, I don't think people are stupid. I think people can be really smart. And then Tommy goes, No. A person is smart. People are stupid. People. Because once you get a crowd going, they're all on the same page and with no nuance.
It could be a crowd about anything.
Yeah.
Literally.
Stand-up. Doing stand-up, that's actually, I was thinking about this today, actually, earlier in the morning, was like, I'm starting to notice that, like, when I'm engaging with someone one-on-one, I'm not as comfortable as if I can, like, talk to a mass of people. Like, if it's like 30 people, I'd be way more comfortable talking to all of them than like each person individually. And like I'm pretty good like one-on-one. Like it's not like I'm freaking out, like I can't handle it.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when I'm talking to more than one person, I'm more comfortable because I can ride the wave of their energy rather than just trying to like pick up on what you're thinking. Like what's going on? What's going on here? Like you and me, what's happening? How can I make something happen here? You know? Because if it's people en masse, it's like everyone's
effort is put into that,
Exactly.
like making something happen.
Exactly. And you can just kind of ride that along, and it's way easier. At least for me, that's what I was thinking about earlier. Is like I seem to just coast when it's like a crowd rather than just like one guy.
Sure. The weird thing about being in a group for me is like, depending on who's around, I'm not the same. I'm a different person.
Right.
I'm not the same guy. And this actually genuinely scares me. Like, I'm different around my girlfriend than when I'm around my mom or my dad or you or a group of people.
Right.
And I know that's, technically normal, but when if you really pay attention to your behavior and how different you are,
well, that's
almost
good.
Involuntarily.
Right. But that's good because, you don't fuck your mom.
Okay. Okay. That's not what I'm talking about. Jeez.
I know what you mean. But that's the thing, is everyone gets into different modes because they have to. Like, you have different relationships with people.
But it's literally a biological. I swear, it's like some sort of biological thing.
Like you can't control it or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's something like I don't know.
Like multiple personality disorder.
No, like it's for fuck's sake. Like it's like a trait that humans developed over time.
Yeah, because you have to be able to like have different, like I said, different modes for different situations, and no one person is the same with the same person. Like that's why people work on being authentic, right? Is like, how can I be like, we love people who are consistent all the time. Like a person who is the same in every situation is awesome.
Almost
like,
even if they're consistently terrible.
Right? Like the president, for example. Like people are okay with it. Not me personally. I'm not okay with it. But the people who are like, impeachment, not good, but it's fine. It's because he's the same. Like he never changed. Right. He's consistently the same guy. And that's gravitating. That's like that pulls people in. And a lot of like, celebrity personality is cultivating that personality. It's one personality because people want to see his person and have that person be pretty much the same guy all the time. But most people change it up because they're uncomfortable and they don't know how to behave. So they're like, what kind of person do you like? And so I'm going to act like that kind of person.
Dude.
And try out a bunch of different personalities until I figure out the one you like.
You just described every guy, including me, from probably 6th grade up to senior year of high school. I mean, every person's different.
Dude, right?
Around girls and women.
Oh,
dude.
Big time.
So bad.
Big time.
I hated myself. Like, that's in hindsight. Like, there'd be...
When you're doing that, like that was something I always hated was like the flirting where I don't know them because I would feel like I'm trying to be a different person or figure out the person that they want to hang out with, until I realized, oh, everyone's doing that and everyone's like afraid of being themselves in front of people. Some people are okay with being in their own skin, but like for the most part, like people are like is this okay? And so like just like being like not caring and just kind of you can't give a fuck. You gotta just be yourself, and people who don't like you are gonna not hang out with you. And that's okay, because you wouldn't want to hang out with those people.
But you don't realize that when you're fucking 10.
Because those aren't the people you want to hang out with.
You didn't realize that when you were 11. Did you ever...
12 or 13 when my esteem was at like
0.
Bottoming out all the time.
Did you ever make a fool of yourself on purpose in front of a girl? Or just get really loud
that's
for
what
no
I would
reason?
do. That's who I am.
Dude, I did that so much.
I am just the person who gets loud. There was actually, when I was in like grade school, multiple... I was the kid who got the parent-teacher conferences outside of parent-teacher conferences, right? The ones that were always like, you know, hey, so I sent your mom an email about meeting up in the near future. Make sure she gets it. Like I had a lot of those kinds of meetings because I was always disruptive. I was the disruptive kid. I still am. I just know how to like, you know, like rein it in every once in a while. But like, I loved like getting all the attention in class. Like I would just like blurt out shit, like nonsense things. I actually got mocked because in social studies, whenever the word duty came up, I would laugh really hard, but fake laughing. Like everyone knew I wasn't actually laughing. I hated you in school. Everyone hated me. But I loved it. Like I loved the negative attention, and that's what I'm saying is like I loved the crowd, like just the energy, even though it was like completely like, hey,
dude, fuck
can you shut the fuck up? I'm trying to learn about fucking World War I. Like, can you be quiet? Like, it was so amazing to just like cause a scene,
dude.
And I didn't have the maturity to be like, okay, I won't do it right now.
So I only did that around girls, and there's this one terrible. This is the last time I did this. It was my freshman year or sophomore year of high school. The last time I ever made a fool of myself because of how far I took it and the consequences that you know happened because of it.
Right.
PE class. There's a girl named Kathleen. She I mean, I don't know if she's really hot, but back then I thought she was smoking hot. You know, she was wearing like this really short shorts, and I was a little teenage boy, and my wiener was hard. And I was just like, oh fuck, she's so attractive. I am gonna get her attention. Because that's what you do. Hey! No.
Kathleen!
No, it wasn't like
I'm over here!
It's even worse, dude.
Oh, God.
So, we're playing volleyball, and there's a bunch of, like, it's indoors, you know, we're playing volleyball in the gym. And she gets put on the opposite team of my team, and I'm like, this is my moment.
Right.
So, I'm saying I wasn't thinking, right? Like, I was just driven by this need to get her attention. So, the ball's in the air, and I hit it, but I hit it super hard and purposefully towards her.
Wait, so you attacked her?
Yes, 100%. And it dinged her in the face, and it gave her a bloody nose, and it almost knocked her ass to the ground.
Christ.
And then I remember running to her, and I was like...
Well, she should have been paying attention.
Yes, and I said, are you okay? And she goes, what the fuck? She goes, what the fuck? You hurt my nose! And she bled everywhere, and...
Yeah, that's bad.
And then I was like, what am I doing?
Dude, I used to go out in like the playground area. And this is back in like middle school, when we had like actual recess time or whatever, like tacked on to lunch. And I would go out there and I would just like, there was one day I would just like spin like in place, and like I would like try to make myself dizzy, you know? Mm-hmm. And then I would like run up to kids and go, I'm so dizzy. And then they'd be like, oh, can you leave us alone? And then I'd go back and I'd get dizzy again. And then I'd like freak out around them. And it was just obnoxious. And it was literally just to like get attention. Cause that was, while everyone else was like playing kickball or like, you know, doing hopscotch, or actually this is what, 2010. So like playing on their phone. While everyone was doing that, I was like, spinning around in a field and then like walking up to kids and being like, hey, do you see how dizzy I am? They're like, no,
fuck you, get away
from us, please.
Yeah, my middle school was weird because it was half really wealthy kids, like Asians and whites usually, and then half really poor crime-ridden, like, because the school was literally on this hill, and at the bottom of the hill, there's the lake houses where all the rich kids lived, and then as the hill goes on, there's like really poor government housing, like fucking ghetto. Basically, it was like a ghetto.
Yeah.
And so it was half and half. And we had this guy, this security guard, like hired just to keep the school safe, because kids would, like the rich kids would get their shit stolen all the time, like iPods, iPhones, all gone.
Shit.
And guy's name was Mr. Pruitt, like 400 pounds, huge fucking guy.
This is the principal?
No, it's not the principal. He's there. It's a private security guard they hired just to make sure, because there were kids like that were in gangs.
Oh god.
And they would like beat the shit out of each other at school, while the other kids were like, you know, playing doodle jump on their fucking phones. So this guy, and it was scary, like being in that school, because you'd see kids like bring knives and shit to school, and Mr. Pruitt would grab him by the head and slam him into the concrete. And then you go back to social studies.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was
with a concussion. Like you're getting all dizzy. You can't remember who invaded Russia, because you got like a fucking like your skull's wide open.
Like the kids would call the teacher bitch.
Whoa.
There'd be like this one kid, Luis.
I wasn't that.
No.
Because that was the weird thing. I love teachers, but
you were totally a teacher's boy, weren't you?
I fucked with them all the time. So they did. I actually remember one of those weird like extracurricular parent-teacher conferences I had. My mom and my dad went into the meeting, and then they came out, and then my mom was talking to me, and she goes, you know, he said that you're really frustrating. And I was like, I know. He's like, and then she goes, no. He said you're really frustrating because all you do is cause mayhem and you don't listen. But then you do really well on all of the tests. So he knows you're listening. You're just fucking with him.
You suck, man. That was terrible.
It was so great. I just had that unrelenting creative energy that I couldn't bottle it up. No one could keep me down.
I've almost forgotten all about middle school and high school. Like other than
oh god, it's so far. It feels like so long ago.
Don't you think we do school wrong as a society? Like early education. I really think we do.
Well, like what do you mean? Like how would you do it differently?
Well, I was talking to my friend from Sweden, and like they tend to have a lot more free time. Like their recesses aren't. My recess was only 30 minutes. So first of all, school shouldn't be 6 hours long. My school was like 6-7 hours.
No, mine was 7 to 8 hours.
Yeah, school should be 5 hours long max, 5 periods. All right, stop being an idiot. All right, and or if you're gonna make it 6 hours long, give a whole hour break to the kids, right? I just think there's too much thrown at kids in school. There's too much shit going on. You're not only are you learning about all this useless information about Russia or whatever, now you're also learning how to be a person with all these other people that are learning how to be people because they're all tiny.
Yeah.
It's just weird. I don't think we do it right.
My thing was always like the early start time. We had 9 a.m. for elementary school, 8 a.m. for middle school, 7 a.m. for high school.
And it's backwards because when I was little, and when most kids are little to go to elementary school, you wake up at fucking 6 in the morning anyway.
And then for this, like for college, the last 4 years, I think I had one class at 8 a.m. And I mean one, because it was a section. So it was one day I had to get up that early. And that was probably the hardest Wednesdays I've had in a long time.
Yeah, you know life's good when waking up at 8.
My thinking is always that what we need more of is like the civics type stuff that like a lot of the stuff about government in America and a lot of that stuff that got pulled out, and the arts. So like a lot of the humanities type stuff that get removed, you need more of. And I think like I also at the time I didn't ever agree with whenever kids complained about like I'd rather learn about taxes and shit like that, because you'll learn that and that's not hard.
Well, except you
and
don't.
there's a lot of like that's the stuff you get in life. You don't get the history lessons and the English lessons and the math lessons in life. That's what school's for.
But now, see, it depends on what you want school to be. If you want school to be that,
and I think that's what giving you all of it allows you to do, is to decide which field you want. Because a 13-year-old isn't going to know what kind of thing they want to study.
You're right about
even
that.
though I have journals at the time where I was like, I wish high school was more like college, because everyone should be able to pick whatever class they want and learn whatever they want. Like at the time, I thought you should get more choice, but to be honest, I shouldn't have been given that.
I'm not talking about more choices. I'm with you there. Like, I'm with you. You got to learn all this shit. But what I think school really lacks is, one, the humanities is like, dude, my art teacher was high all the time. They don't hire, like, it's just not important to American society.
Oh, that's a big thing. Like the money going into education is terrible. Like that's one of the big things, like defund the police and all that stuff. That's one of the, I think, biggest selling points, is that you can put money into schools, which will help like reduce crime. There is a correlation. I heard this like a long time ago. It might be wrong or have changed or whatever, but like the more educated people are, the crime rate goes down, because it
shit, Sherlock. Yeah, but it's also about, the problem I really have with our education, and I, just what I thought, and I still think this, is that you don't learn how to be a functioning member of society. You really don't. You don't learn, like, and we're talking about taxes and all that. You don't learn how government works. You don't learn how voting works or what gerrymandering is. My school didn't teach me any of this. My school taught me about the War of Northern Aggression and how great Christopher Columbus was and how the natives were savages. And I'm sure everyone was a savage back then, whatever. But what I'm saying is they're not teaching us the right things. They're definitely on purpose teaching us the wrong things.
Oh, yeah.
Because then I came to college. The first Black Studies class I took, I remember how uncomfortable I was, because I couldn't deal with the idea that America did this to people.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way we did that. What? You're telling me they couldn't vote until the 60s? What?
Yeah.
Separate water fountain. And they're like,
you didn't know about segregation?
No one fucking... And if they teach you, it's like a weekend class. They're like, yeah, there were black people, had to go to different schools. Now we're all in the same school. Get in the back, Jamal. That's
wild.
The teacher. This is what I had, and I did this in Texas. So you did it in a different place.
Right.
But schools suck here.
Yeah.
And look at how stupid half of our people are.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the fact that you can't just have a high school education. Granted, I don't think that that's enough time. I think that you need an extra 4 years after the fact. But the fact that you can't just we can't all be on the same page about basic facts with a high school diploma. Like the fact that that part of the population is considered to be quote unquote on a deficit. Like the idea that it's such an extreme between a college education and a high school education that you really can't be considered sufficient on just a high school education, like shows you how much of a deficit of knowledge you get in high school, that you could have a better high school education
and it's not
if there was more money.
It's almost not even about the classes. It's more about the base, like college. For me, going through college, it really is a basic requirement, like learning about science. Like they make you take science classes and shit. They have like requirements, right? And you take those classes and you learn about like, like carbon is a greenhouse gas. And then you're like, yeah, that's totally a thing. And there's a professor up there, the professor I took for this earth science class, been doing this for like 50 years, genius guy, contributed to so much science. And then you got Joe Fucko over there on Fox News saying, well, carbon really isn't a big deal. It's the climate's always been changing.
Right.
It's snowy one day and rainy the next. It's like, dude.
Well, that's different because those are people who are intentionally like giving false information.
But people believe it afterwards.
Right. The fact that you you don't have the information to back your own thinking that this doesn't sound right.
Yeah. Or that there's like a senator, like, I don't know, a while ago, I remember, this was back when Obama was still president, but he was like, see, I have a snowball in my hand.
Oh, I saw that.
Okay. Yeah. Congratulations, you idiot. And he knows better. That's the thing. That guy knew better, but his constituents are so stupid. This is the problem. When you have dumb constituents. Listen, I am singling out a half the country, and I don't care. When you have dumb constituents, it's not dumb people that get elected. It's smart people that know how to appeal to these idiots.
Right.
And they think they're voting for someone who cares or is in their interest, when really their interests are... Like, this is the fucking crux of voting against your own interests, right?
Yeah.
It's like the people who are on Obamacare that are voting to repeal it.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Dude, the people who founded the country, this is why, like, people who founded the country thought that the masses shouldn't vote. Dude, George Washington didn't think that non-land owning persons should vote. Like, he said that if we allow them to vote, they will make horrible choices. And this is why, because people are stupid even if a person is smart. People, it's the mob, dude. I heard somebody talking about like the internet and like the mob of the internet, and it's true. The problem with the internet is that you just get like everybody like at once, and everybody sucks.
And it's not just a mob, it's an anonymous mob.
Yeah,
That's 10 times the crazy.
Because then you have, which I actually think that's the power. That's the power you can have, is that you can put a lot of change out there without having to suffer like personal consequences. But that becomes a problem if you're like, if the things you're trying to change are things that are actually like trying to help other people. Like if the shit you're trying to change is like, you know, let's make white people and that's it. And then like, and then you can say that without anybody attacking you. That's an issue. And it's like you get to just be this mob of insanity.
So now that we've covered how terrible things are, I genuinely want your opinion. Is it going to get better? And if so, what's going to happen?
It'll be the same.
Will it get, but will it get worse? Was it even like, I don't remember, and I was a kid, but I genuinely don't remember this when Bush was president. Like I know that there were opponents of Bush, but like I don't remember people saying, "Oh, you voted for Bush? You must be an idiot, disgusting." Like I don't remember that.
Right.
And I don't think it happened as much as it does now. And you already see it happening. Like, you know, if you're going to say you vote for Joe Biden, someone's like, "Oh, idiot, vote for Joe Biden," or "Oh, you're an idiot voting for Trump."
Right.
I don't think that's healthy for the country. And to me, it's getting worse because now people don't trust law enforcement for good reason.
Yeah.
Because years and years of whatever. But then there's other people saying, like, you know, someone, can't name who, said that George Floyd was on meth and the cop was just exercising his right to put him down. And I was just like hearing this and I was thinking, wow, you, at any expense, they could literally say, this guy
totally
could have just said the
point.
N-word and shot him in between his eyes as he was holding a white baby. And you would say, well, the guy, he had a criminal record and I don't know, he was trying to resist arrest.
And he might have a criminal record because
it doesn't matter
because
if
it's
he
a
does.
racist system. Like
Right.
it's all self-perpetuating.
It doesn't matter. Even if, okay, let's say he was a murderer.
Oh no, that's not an excuse. I'm saying that his
Right.
criminal record might even be illegitimate.
Like, for the thing he was suspected of doing, if you robbed a bank, it's not important at that point.
Right.
Like 10 years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is you hear people like this, and it makes me really think, like, oh, geez, we are fucked.
Right.
Like, this whole thing is fucked. and people, every time I talk to someone, oh, you know, it's going to get better. We'll be friends again, like, as a nation. I don't know. Will we?
Well, I think, like, I don't know. I try to just believe that it'll get better just for the sake of believing it, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it's like...
It's like how you believe in God, right?
So it's like... Right, yeah, even though I'm not religious.
Yeah, you're like, well, you know, it could be a thing. So.
It's like, you know, if you're asking me if I think it's going to get better, because I think this is a very like touchy moment. Like this is a very transitional moment in American history. And
which way is it going to transition?
Exactly. Like it could either like kind of dribble off and it'll be the same old, or it could like catapult and things could get really good. Because when the internet first came out, part of the like great hope was that it'll liberate us and we can all like have these free discussions. And
I think it was mainly for porn, actually. I think mainly we're like, oh, dude, I can put videos.
Dude, I can jerk off now? This is great.
People can put videos of people fucking on here.
I can be naked online. It's awesome.
And make money now.
No, it's like that was the hope. And then we saw a lot of problems. We've all seen like these issues with it. But I think that like we are now seeing again what the internet can do, because it's sparked this, and you can say that it's in part because we've all been quarantine for months so we all get to like ignore the distractions and see the real shit that people are having to deal with. But like the whole George Floyd thing exploded in part because of the organization on social media. And it's amazing. This is the stuff we always, I think, wanted the internet to be. And then when I think about how are things going to get better, it really hinges on like the next year or so, because you have a presidential election, you have movements en masse about medicine and just basic socialism, like the idea of who gets what money from the government, whether it's homeless people or corporations, racial justice movements. Like you have this whole this powder keg that's kind of already gone off, but could explode if the right people are elected within the next few years. You know, like one of the great tragedies, you could say, of the country was in the 60s when you had these amazing movements that were drawing a lot of comparisons to today's, were halted because you had the murders of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Bobby Kennedy. Like these great people were being slaughtered. So then by the time you got to 68, when it was like, well, now can we change things? And then they elected Nixon, who just perpetuated a war and, you know, did all this stuff, like, and it created this new distraction that like you couldn't, like, everyone was both like defantasized from, or disillusioned from what they thought the country could change to be. And then we're now facing this awful new reality with Vietnam and the Watergate scandal. Like the country fell apart in the 70s. But now you have a very similar moment where you have people protesting and calling out for truth and justice and reform in a monumental scale, that like if the right people are selected, yeah, you could move forward. And a lot of the issues we see with like misinformation and like politicization comes from, you know, shit like Fox News that created this propaganda machine that then you have CNN who just perpetuates sensationalism and conflict, so nothing ever really gets resolved. Like a lot of the issues that we've known for like the past 50 years were kind of put on the back burner because of the monumental crises that came up in the late 60s and 70s. And now we're getting to face it again, but you know,
yeah, you're right.
Will we answer the moment or not? It's really up in the air. I think it can get better. There's no reason it can't, I guess, is my thinking, is that it could very easily get better.
I would rephrase that. I'd say there's no reason it shouldn't.
Right.
But there are many reasons why it can't get better.
It could be stalled very easily. Do you realize that what was it, like a few weeks ago, we were as far away from Super Tuesday, the Democratic primary, where like it was Biden versus Bernie basically, to election day. Like
holy
the distance
shit.
and time was equal, like a couple weeks ago. That was, and we have that much left. Like we have that much left to go. Like all that's happened within that time between end of June and Super Tuesday is now ahead of us. And look at everything that's fucking gone down. It's insane.
And it really hasn't chilled. Like
it's gotten way more hyped up.
You know how crazy it is? It's so crazy that not only are Americans protesting, the whole world is protesting against America. They're living in fucking Chile, chilling and shit, and they're like, man, they're killing black people in America. We gotta really fucking get out of the house. They're doing it.
Yeah.
They're like, this is bad. And the whole world is like, we are such a joke now. And the ignorance, this is the true ignorance of America. Everyone could be telling you, you know, let's say America's a person and the world, other countries are the family members. They're all sitting us down and saying, you got an alcohol problem and it's that you hate black people. and we're saying I can stop whenever I want.
Oh God.
I can stop. I don't need this.
That's really good.
That's what it is. They're telling us there's a problem. We're like, no, I've always been great and I can stop. I've never had a problem with this. I've been the best. I've done more there's less alcohol unemployment than ever before.
Dude, this is where like leadership is so important, because you see that like the people are looking for change and the people in charge are either just ignoring it or trying to change the conversation. Like, I mean, imagine how different it would be. I was listening to like the podcast I was watching earlier where it was like, imagine how different it would be if there was like a regular president right now, like, and at like a basic level, just being like, guys, we're gonna get through this. Imagine how much, like, how different you would feel every day.
Every day, be like, hey,
it's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Like, we don't feel that.
Well, and what's amazing is that you're seeing how empowered people can be on their own. Like, when the people realize how bad things are, they can rise up to demand change. It's just a matter of, are the people in charge also to follow suit in that change that they desire. So it's like, when you have the right person saying the right things, the country is just better. Like, it's just so much better. A lot of like fucking masks. Like, people are getting so revved up about wearing a fucking mask because the guy in charge, my president, is saying, I'm not gonna wear it, but you go ahead. And then so everyone's like,
I don't need to wear it.
I don't want to wear it. Like, no one wants to wear it. But like, if you had not even just a single guy, but a what is an entire branch of the government being like, we're doing this together, and then the powers of that government, distilled down and touched all of us, then you would feel like you're a part of something. And people are being able to do that without that sort of trickle down good feelings kind of thing. People are able to do that right now without that, but it's so much harder and it becomes so much more strenuous, and there's this tension because no one's around to be like, we got this and this is what we're gonna do.
Right.
The people are going like, quit fucking talking shit about George Washington, and we're like, but there's some problems.
No, this is like, can we just talk about these masks for a second, all right? Let me just talk about masks. This is something I love about Americans. The Americans always talk about their rights, right? I have a right. My right to bear arms. My right to freedom of speech. But they really don't know what any of it means, right? Like, I saw this video. A woman yelling at some grocery store clerk because he's saying, our store requires you to wear a mask. And she's like, this is against the law and my freedom of speech and my Second Amendment rights. It's like, bitch, listen, bitch.
Jesus.
Listen, all right? You have a right not to wear a mask. But a business has a right to say, if you're not wearing a mask, the fuck out of my store. and if you don't like it, go to another store.
Right.
That is where it ends. Yeah. No one owes you anything. You guys are always talking about how everyone's got to do it on their own and get it together, and this is the American dream. Well, you know what my American dream is? My American dream is you'd shut the fuck up and go to a different store. That's my American dream.
Dude, the best part about the country, like the part that like everyone agrees was like the best part, was World War II, because everyone like put their individual wants and desires aside so that we could win a war. Like people would stop eating meat on a certain day and donate tires on another day. But is that
what it takes?
And like, that was where we were at, was like, we're all a country and we're in this together.
Except not really.
And now it's
but not even
and
really.
at that time there was like discrimination and segregation, so there was still a split. But imagine if that mentality were around today, with the awareness of not separating everybody. Like, basically it was like white communities were like, hey, so we're all gonna pitch in and we're gonna fuck your communities up. But like, at least at that moment, that's what I'm saying is like, everyone, when you think about, at least I think when everyone talks about like, the greatness of America, like that's the great ideal, is like when we came and rose up during World War II, because we were all like, trying to like do this one thing, and that sort of that sense of community just like washed away and isn't what is going on right now.
Now I'm gonna push back on
like
you
imagine if that mentality was around for coronavirus.
I guess the mentality, sure, but I'm gonna push back a little bit, okay? Because first thing, Japanese internment happened.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, you're right.
All right, so we're all in this together. Get those Japanese guys in that camp.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying is that like the white people were doing that, and then like squashing everybody else around them. But those white people being like, "Hey, make America great again. Make it like the 50s." Well, in the 50s, you would wear a mask, no question, to protect just the guy you live next door to, let alone the old person you might see that might catch it because you didn't know you had it. Like that mentality. That's all I mean.
No, you're right.
Because oh god, if we took anything else from that period and like implemented it today, it'd be a fucking shit show.
Why did it have to be like for America to really come together? It took a Hitler and 2 atom bombs.
Yeah,
that's I'm not willing to. That's not that great. I don't want America to be that great.
Right.
Don't make it great. Make it not fine. Okay. Make it just like
make America fine.
Make America chill again. Everybody
I don't know that it was ever chill.
Yeah.
Just make it
chill.
Make it fine.
Yeah.
Make it fine. MAF hats. Could you imagine a bunch of people
MAF.
Hashtag MAF?
Make it fine.
Did you hear about how Trump's rally got fucking memed by a bunch of TikTokers and K-pop stars?
I did hear that.
That's amazing.
Also,
by the way, before that happened, those people, my least favorite people. After that, fucking, you're the best.
Listen, it's that whole thing where the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But I don't like him.
I love it. No, dude, like, if that's the potential of those two groups of people, do whatever you want from here on out.
No. Let me explain.
Because I want to encourage whatever possible thing could come out of them next, because that was amazing.
Okay, but you're kind of off social media, right? Like you're not on it too much.
I'm basically not.
Yeah. So
I mean, like I have Instagram.
Yeah, but you're not
Facebook.
on it. You don't look at it too much.
I really don't.
All right,
and I don't even have like the main ones.
So TikTok has. I know I sound crazy. Just listen.
The Chinese thing?
No, but TikTok. Has taken over every platform.
Oh.
Like if you go on Instagram, you see people's TikToks. If you're on Facebook, you see people's TikToks.
But that's what happened with Vine.
Yeah, but the thing is,
like the exact same thing happened with Vine.
But this is way more intense. Like
it's the same.
It's not the same.
It's Vine. It's just what Vine was. What kind of phone did you have in high school?
I didn't.
So imagine if you had a phone and you had the intensity of today.
Dude,
back then.
Fuck that. That's insane. I couldn't even handle normal life in high school.
Dude, now most kids, like their first phone is like a smartphone. My first phone was a flip phone, and then I got this. I got the flip phone, right, and that was fucking dope. Right. But then after that, I got the slide phone, and I was a machine on that phone. I loved that phone. I actually loved that phone more than the Samsung Galaxy I got after it, because the fucking and the typing, it was so much fun.
Old phones were not as good as like an actual keyboard yet.
Yeah, right. And that phone had a touchscreen too, so it was like I was like I had that whole experience, but then I also had the typing thing. Oh, dude. Oh man, what I wouldn't give for that to not be an obsolete fucking technology, because I want it back so badly.
There are phones out there that do that, but not like an Apple phone or like a Samsung.
Yeah, it's like not a good quality.
Fucking social media is terrible for children.
Oh yeah. We should ban it for anyone who's less than like 12.
I really think there should be, I mean, I'm sure there are parental controls about this on phones. The problem is the mob, right?
I wasn't even allowed. Yes, I wasn't even allowed to have Facebook until I went to high school, and even that, I'm pretty sure was only because I started getting into clubs, and a lot of their communication was on Facebook.
Right.
So, so my mom, I was like, Mom, like I know I said I needed it before, and I was really just like feeling I was missing out, but I really need it now.
Yes. The problem is, like, I want to have a kid, right? And I don't want this kid to touch that until he's old enough, like 18. Because I really do think it can fuck with your brain.
Oh,
and it especially does. When you're developing.
No, it does. Like they're finding studies now where it totally messes with you.
So knowing that, but then the kid's gonna be like, Dad, all my dipshit friends and the entire world uses it. And I'm going to be like, you are right. But I'm not going to let you, 1 out of 7 billion people, use it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be hard to explain to a fucking kid.
That's what I'm going to have to do too. Because I actually think, at the time it sucked because it felt like everyone around me was on Facebook, which probably also wasn't even fucking true. But now I have like zero dependency on social media. And there are people who I'm like a little jealous of who are like better at it. Like they can do it better than I do. But if we're talking about like, the neediness of it, I have no need for posting or even really being, I check in. That's it.
Fine.
And that's it. And that's because I didn't have it for so long that like I knew how to be a person without it. And even when I did get it, like there's a learning curve, right? Like you learn how to use social media.
But that's the danger because whatever you post on there, people are going to see forever.
Right. And imagine learning before you have any sort of like inhibitions about yourself. Like you're just posting anything whenever.
I would have posted the stupidest
I would have
shit.
posted the dumbest stuff. Like when I was in high school, right? That was me learning how to use social media. But if I had learned how to use it, but didn't have any sort of like capacity for understanding how fucking annoying I am, then I would have learned it in middle school, then done it in high school, and then been a fucking fiend in college. Like it would have been a mess. Whereas what actually happened was I got Facebook. I like fucking twiddled on it for like a couple years. I didn't have a profile picture until my senior year of high school. Like it was like I had other shit going on. And, it was, you learn like, your fucking personality online. And that took me high school. And that's also when you develop like your ability to be like, hey, I'm going to not talk right now. So like you need the timing of that so that you're not like you have a personality before, like outside of whatever social media or technology you're on. 'Cause without that, you're completely dependent on what other people are thinking all the time. And that's scary because people are stupid.
People are terrible. I'm going to give you an example of how, this is in college, how social media kind of fucked up my head. So dated this girl for a year. She broke up with me. Okay. Social media was the worst thing for me to have at that moment because I'd look at her profile and I'd see what she was doing. And I'm sure she was looking at my profile. And then she liked a picture of mine like a week after she broke up with me. So then my mind was like, what does that really mean? Did she still have feelings for me? And then I would go like a picture of hers and she wouldn't hit me up. And then I would feel weird.
It's a fucking mess,
dude. No, thank you. No, thanks ever again. And it's like, you could just say, oh, you were being stupid. But I really do think if I didn't have social media, that whole thing would have been so much easier for me as a human being.
Oh God. Yeah. That's what I'm saying is like, you need to be able to be a person without people, and like that's impossible if your sense of person is built on a social media platform. It's insane. And it's getting worse. Like there's more of it, and it's more it touches more people, so it's harder to avoid. So I'm not jealous of being a 13-year-old right now. Like that sounds terrifying.
Dude,
I genuinely think we hit a sweet spot.
We did.
Of technology, because we hit it right where it was like bleeding into us. So it was like the cutting edge thing, and like kids are always like on the cutting edge. So like we were on top of it and learning it, but then all the adults weren't like they didn't get it. They hadn't marinated it in it yet. Like they were still like using landlines. I had a landline. Like I have a memory of a landline.
My girlfriend's parents still have a fucking home phone. Who's got a home phone?
Dude, did you have like DirecTV or something like that, like as a kid?
Yeah.
My favorite thing was when we had DirecTV and it was connected to the phone. So whenever you would get a call, you would see who was calling on the TV, like during your show. It was the coolest thing. It sounds so dumb now, but like at the time, because you'd have to get up from your show.
Calling.
You'd have to get up from your show to see who was calling, and it was usually fucking nobody. But now I get to like be a kid and watch like Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack and like see that Dave is calling. I don't know who Dave is.
I don't know Dave.
So I'm gonna keep watching my show.
Fuck Dave.
Fuck Dave.
But
Honestly, fuck Dave.
You're right. You're right about the sweet spot in so many ways. Not even just social media.
Dude,
Let's talk about the sweet spot of video games.
We had like Game Boy, but we also had like regular toys, like Beyblades.
Yes, dude.
I was all about Beyblades.
I had a lot of Transformers.
I had Beyblades, and I had Beyblade Arenas, which was like the plastic
Dude,
dome
so suburban. Yeah.
that you would like rip the top into, and then it would spin, and you'd fight your other tops or friends with tops.
We
awesome.
were kids that still went outside, like in our early childhoods. I rode bikes and shit. And then we also became the kids that, holy shit, the Nintendo GameCube.
Shit, Halo.
Yeah, Halo. All these amazing games. And now video games, they're great. They're the best they've ever been. But we really hit the stride.
We were right in the fucking groove of it, man.
And we were the age where we could appreciate retro games too.
Because we had seen what a life was like without good games.
Right. And so when I
But
played,
just barely. Like, we just barely got to see that.
and I remember when I had a Wii, I bought like old school Nintendo games, and
Yeah.
I still loved them because like you were saying, I didn't know what fucking video games were.
Yeah.
My little brothers, first of all, these kids, okay, they're playing on the fucking iPad,
Dude,
and none of those games are good.
My 7-year-old brother
Shame on you.
is, dude, he's
I'm just fucking.
14 years younger than I am. I'm gonna lose track.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
The last the last time I was down visiting my parents, he's 7 playing Minecraft. I didn't even play like video games regularly until I was probably like 12, and he's playing Minecraft. He's not learning how to play Minecraft. He's already in a game of Minecraft.
Right.
Like, he's showing me his stuff, not me showing him stuff.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was so surreal.
So right, my brothers, they're playing iPad games. You know, they got Minecraft on the iPad and everything, and then
On an Xbox though. Like, he's playing
shit.
he's playing on a console. He's not even like tactilely like pressing a button
Yeah.
and then seeing it do it. He was using hand-eye coordination to play a video game. He doesn't even know how to play basketball. He knows how to play Minecraft.
So I showed my little brothers, I had this little thing that played Game Boy games. It wasn't a Game Boy, but it was like a Game Boy machine. Like a Game Boy that's not Nintendo licensed, basically.
Oh, interesting.
So I was playing Super Mario Brothers on it, like one of the old Mario games. And he said, "Why does this game look so bad?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, it doesn't look realistic. Like, it doesn't look real. The graphics look like pixely."
Yeah, it's pixelated.
And that's the moment where I was just like, they don't fucking, these people won't appreciate this because it looks old.
Right.
Like, it's different for film. You could watch a movie shot with an old camera.
But as a kid, I would be like,
no, because
why is this film worse?
No, you wouldn't do that.
As like how old?
He's like 10.
Dude, if I was 10, I genuinely did not like black and white movies.
Okay, black and white is a different story, but like, if it was shot in the 70s.
It's the same thing.
No, if it was shot in the 70s.
It's a different
on film.
quality.
Yeah, but the film in the 70s, right? Like, if it was shot on film versus digitally now with all the CGI and shit.
You can see a difference.
You can see a difference, but it wouldn't be like, man, this movie sucks. Like, if I showed anyone Pulp Fiction, like if he turned 18 and then I showed him Pulp Fiction, he's not going to be like, dude, this movie sucks.
I think that's more because he's 18 than like because like when you're a kid, you can see the quality because you have such a little reference point that it's like, this is all the good shit and then this is all the other shit, right? Like, it's such a narrow like gap between the two because you haven't been exposed to all of it.
Yeah, maybe I'm just speaking like an old man.
But like, I'm sure, because like if he were that much older, he would probably be like, oh, this is a pixelated game. Like, it's just different. It's not better or worse. Like you get those more like strict categories as a kid. We still haven't talked about the fact that no one should be listening.
No one should listen to this. It's a terrible, terrible podcast. Nothing of substance here.
There's really no reason. Like, you should be doing other things.
You could be doing anything. You have so much time on your hands.
The fact that you're wasting the time you should be wasting on this is kind of ridiculous.
You shouldn't be doing it.
And this far into it.
But if you did,
thanks.
One thing, yeah, thanks.
But don't listen again.
Don't listen again, and never say the N word.
And don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody to
listen to this.
either.
Don't do it
because we don't want anybody to listen.
Nobody
to
should listen to this podcast. You shouldn't be listening to it.
You shouldn't already be listening to it.
Don't tell your friends to listen to it.
And if you listen to another episode,
don't do
stop.
it. Stop it.
Stop doing that.
Stop it and get some help. And never come back again.
Right. And if you do, come on.
You'd know better. 'Cause we've been telling you this whole... We told you in the beginning.
We told you at the very beginning.
And now we're telling you at the end.
I don't know how we're going to keep bringing it up.
The same way we are now.
It doesn't really matter.
Thanks for not listening.
Thank you for not listening.
I'll see you never.
We hope you stop listening.
Bye.
Hopefully this last one too. That was great.
Yeah, I had a fun time.
Too bad no one will hear it.
Yeah, I know it's good.